On the escalator again.
Leave it alone.
What?
Comics.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
TV and movies. Wrestling. Music.
We are just getting started!
Finally, a podcast about things you actually care about, hosted by a couple of guys who actually care about those things too.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Maybe a little too much.
Yes, that's awesome.
The talented one, Chris Machete.
That no-talent ass clown became famous.
And Brenton, you know, that guy from your other favorite podcast.
I liked it. I was good at it.
So grab onto the handrail and don't let go.
There's a little boy caught the escalator!
This is the Kids on the Escalator podcast.
Woo!
Here's CM and BD.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Oh, look at that X-Wing fighter. Look at that. Hold on, I gotta put you all the way in there. Look at that. Yeah.
We even got R2 in the back.
Oh, look at that.
And we've got Luke.
You were just playing with that. You were just playing with that before we started this. This is why you didn't even break this out for this thing. You're just playing it.
I'm in the coloring room in the studio, and my office sits right beside me. On my, I have a big cabinet that holds my artwork in. It's got like 6 different shelves. This sits on top right beside me, man. It sits and I stare at it for inspiration. Isn't that beauty? That's like from the early 2000s. This is the one that apparently crashed in Dagobah. So it came with the little dragon snake and some swamp stuff you can put on there. And of course, it's got the landing gear that flips up and down. Which way does it go forward? There it goes up and down like that. Yeah.
And we haven't done like a
toy box deal.
A toy box one.
It came from the basement.
I think we probably should end the season with that this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're going to come up on that soon because it's your birthday and Chris doesn't work on his birthday. So we're going to.
Toys are awesome.
Yeah. We're going to probably look at wrapping the whole thing up as far as like, the season probably shortly. I mean, it's funny because The Boys is in there now. We haven't really touched on that yet, which we could probably do after this week. And then that should wrap everything up leading into the summer break. And then we'll come back.
And then don't forget, we're doing that big rock fest here on the 27th of August. And we want to raise some money for some really good people and some really good animals, right?
Yeah. So that's going to be, we'll have more details to come on that. But that's going to be happening
there's going to be a Misfits cover band, like in full gear Misfits cover band.
Excellent.
And
who's in it?
Cheap beer, man. It's gonna be, and my band's gonna play, and we got Badger Milk coming in. Our buddy Evan Rose's band.
Which band is yours that are you gonna put Machete together for this thing?
It's just gonna be Chris Machete. I think we're gonna do. I still work ironing. I'm the only one that doesn't have the details totally ironed out. You know what I mean?
That's fine.
I just need some help. I need some help from some people around here, and I'm sure they will help me out. So
until Taylor gets home off the road with JJ. And put her to work.
She's rocking it out. She's doing well. I got a cat hanging out the window now, so I'm not just losing distraction there. But yeah, so when Obi-Wan's over, which is Wednesday, then I can move on to The Boys. But right now, I can't cut into my Obi-Wan time. It's just like Obi-Wan all the time.
That's right. And we are here today with the panel, which we haven't had in a while. So it was time to put the fellas back together of all of the Obi-Wan people that I can imagine that are watching this thing right now. In the window, you started the thing with the X-Wing, but in the window waiting for us, all these guys with toys now.
We're getting the band back together. Oh, is everybody got toys now?
Everyone's got toys now. Jimmy,
that's awesome.
Jimmy better get some toys
That's
out.
Awesome.
Let's start it. I think we got we're going to start it with a depressed Darth, it looks like.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Yeah, there he is.
Hey,
still flying a Leaf flag. Our good buddy Mike Pongracz. Welcome back to the show, sir. How are you?
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm fantastic. It's wonderful to be back, and it's been so long, and so we're talking. I think we talked about this. We're talking Ms. Marvel, right? That's what this is.
Ms. Marvel. No, we're not going there.
By the way, The Boys. Wow,
Chris hasn't seen it yet.
I just started watching
I'm waiting for Obi-Wan.
You just started watching the series, or just this season?
This season, and wow.
Yeah.
So
I hear good things. I'm stoked.
Next toy into the mix here, I believe, Mr. Kerns, you've got a Millennium Falcon for us. There we go. Look at that bad boy.
Not only is it the Han Solo owned Millennium Falcon, I also have with me the pre-owned Landale Calrissian.
Oh, that's a beaut. Yeah, I still got the cargo hold.
Yeah, see, it's from the Solo film, which was not my favorite film by any means, but I had to have this once I saw the this thing comes out apparently. I can't remember it.
Nice. Oh yeah, it does. That's cool. Yeah. How's it going, Todd?
Wife of the year for putting up with this nonsense.
I was gonna just ask about your wife's how she with the Star Wars toy collection.
She's actually what I would call an enabler, because there's all this stuff around here.
I have that exact one. Is that a replica one?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a gift, so it actually fits on my gigantic head. So that's
nice.
But I'm with you in talking about the boys. It's a renaissance time right now, my boys, with the boys and the Orville and Strange New Worlds and Miss Marvel. It's just me off the couch, nearly impossible. And of course with Obi-Wan. Yeah.
And now you got pulled into a podcast to talk all about Star Wars.
To talk all about it. Exactly. Yeah.
And there we are. We got Jimmy back into the mix. Oh, he's got the lightsaber. This is our lightsaber expert,
all right.
James P. White from 95.7 Cruz FM and the Jedi Jimmy Podcast on the Dean Blundell Network. How are you, sir? Welcome to the show.
Doing great.
Now, here's the other thing about this panel. We got two guys on this panel that the last time they were together were talking about being in wrestling rings because they've both been in wrestling rings over the last little bit. Mike's an evil heel manager, and Jimmy stirs the shit up at local wrestling stuff. Chris hasn't been in the ring yet. Todd, I'm not sure if you've given a drop kick or not.
No, I'm sure I would hurt myself immediately.
So Mike, I saw you did some evil stuff this weekend, and that looked pretty fun. Jimmy, when are you back in the ring?
I do the first Saturday of every month. So I'm doing next. So what is it? 2nd, and then I'm actually at the end of July. I'm doing a tour in BC.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Of just you or you're wrestling?
Oh, just the wrestling. I'm just not walking around talking. No, and I'm a heel manager too. Like I beat people.
That's the best way to go.
Nice. I beat people with my nunchucks.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Yes. I have a sign that says cheer, and it does the exact opposite effect, because every time my guys cheer for them, the crowd boos. But Chris, you'll appreciate this. So August 7th. There's a big rematch tag match between my guys, Ultimate Swole, Ultimate HHV, and Mr. Atlantis.
Mr. Atlantis.
They're taking on Grinder Mark Shaw and Devin Parkside. They beat us at the last show on the weekend, and I begged for a rematch, and I mistakenly said, if you beat us again, you can get 5 minutes in the ring with me afterwards.
Uh-oh.
Not a
Classic.
not a good thing. So I'm hoping that my guys pull it out, because this almost 50-year-old body does not want to take any bumps in the ring.
Yes, but the rest of the panel does want to watch you take a bump. So, so I think
if it makes you feel better, my last match, our guys mugged the female champion. Now I have the female champion belt.
Oh,
wow.
Dope.
See, that's very progressive. I like it.
It's also the
like
scoop.
it.
You get the inside scoop on this show.
Boys,
I can't wait to talk to you about the boys, but we're going to get into that down the road because Chris hasn't watched it yet.
I got to binge it after Obi-Wan.
You got to binge it, but it's everything I was hoping and more. So we are going to finish up with Obi-Wan Kenobi before we dive into the boys starting next week. And there's certainly a substantial amount of mixed reviews about it. I'm touring with 3 people on this trip that are losing their mind over it, and a couple other guys that are like loving it, and I think all of us are digging it. But holy shit, is there ever a mixed bag of stuff?
What is the prevailing negative thoughts? It's always
timeline stuff seems to be a thing. And
like canon-wise, you mean?
Yeah, and one guy was like, "If they don't erase Leia's brain, I'm fucking done with this, this franchise."
Well, one guy. There's always
there's the one guy.
That's probably all it is just one guy, and then they love throwing this clickbait out there. I was discussing this last time, Brandon's like, they just put out these negative things because anybody who dislikes Star Wars is going to click on it, and anybody who likes Star Wars is going to click on it as well because they're like, "Hey, what's going on there?" But it's all positive. only the Star Wars fans are going to click on it. So they throw out this clickbait that's negative.
I find it to just be anything to generate, anybody's thoughts, and they just get people talking back and forth. It's just all stuff to me. It's like, if you like it, you like it. That's great. If you don't, well, whatever.
But they're going to have a problem. Everyone's going to, all the real assholes, the Star Wars assholes, because there's that. There's that side of it too. And Chris, it was funny because I don't know if you guys tuned in like a couple of weeks ago, but it was really funny because everyone was like, how did she fucking take out the Grand Inquisitor already? This is bullshit, right? And Chris is like, he's got two stomachs. And everyone's like, what?
Not dead.
What?
Coming back.
And then he showed up, and I just sent Chris a text saying, and I didn't mean to ruin it for you, sir, buddy. I apologize. But I sent him a text going, man, it must suck being right all the time.
Well, I knew he was coming back. I knew he wasn't dead because he's too big of a character, and there's too much of influential things that he does in the story that's in the comic book that they're probably going to dip and dive from because it's really great. I like the Vader stuff in this is all just gold. I could go back. It's too bad they don't have just the stuff with all the Vader in it. You could go back and rewatch, right? Because remember when they showed his castle there? It's like,
totally,
man.
Yeah.
But I guess we're focusing on this episode.
Well, we're gonna let's catch up with our guests here for a minute and overall thoughts so far of where we're at leading into 5 out of episode 5. Mike, it's been the longest since you've been on, so why don't you give us your once over here of so far?
Well, see, I know some of the online complaining was the pacing of the show. I think a lot of people were expecting Obi-Wan to be like this lightsaber crazy, action filled coming off of Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. And it's been more than that. And I like the way they've taken the show where it's Obi-Wan's basically got erectile dysfunction with the Force because of the trauma from Revenge of the Sith. And I love, like, Ewan McGregor, I love the fact that he's come back into this franchise with, he's giving himself to the role again. Because after the prequels, I mean, a lot of those actors did not want to even, admit that they were part of the Star Wars universe. He's been fantastic. I loved how they've sort of tried to cover the whole emotional aspect of what happened at the end of Revenge of the Sith. I was a little bit surprised with the Leia introduction because, again, now we're talking about, this uber nerds. If you go to A New Hope, General Kenobi, you served under my father in the Clone Wars. You think that if Obi-Wan had been, that, important to her life by, all these adventures that she's having, she would have worded it a little bit differently.
Well, this is why this guy wants her brain erased.
Yeah,
he's like, this is bullshit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So.
But I mean, that's that minor thing aside. I love how they've melded sort of the Grand Inquisitor into it. Darth Vader, like you still get a little feel of.
Oh, sorry, wrong Inquisitor. That's a
conspirator.
That's a conspirator.
That's the sixth brother, isn't he? The sixth brother.
Yeah.
That's a conspirator. Yeah, sorry.
I like that. That's good. Oh, that is a bad dad joke if I've ever heard one. Well done. But no, honestly, I think I love how they've played this out. Episode 5 was incredible. It actually answered some questions from the prequels. It gave a little more meaning to some of the things that happened. And as we get into predictions for episode 6, that's going to sort of tie in my thoughts, because I think there's a lot of threads that are going to be woven to bring all 9 movies together with that last episode. I do miss John Williams' score though.
I'm happy with the new score.
It's close.
Was
it's
that ever
good.
sad when what's her name, Tala? Holy cow!
Yeah,
that was perfect.
That's probably the closest.
Really
that's
good.
probably the closest I think they've gotten in this series to having that John Williams score feel, like how it enhances.
Good.
Good thing she's got
that scene was just killer.
Good thing, Chris, she's got 4 stomachs. So she'll be back.
I was hoping she would stick out. I thought she would stick it out.
Jimmy, your turn, buddy. What do you think?
Okay, so my dealing with the whole Leia thing, she didn't know he's Obi-Wan. He's never introduced himself as Obi-Wan. He's Ben. He's never gone by Obi-Wan.
But didn't Reva say Obi-Wan in front of her. I thought Reva said Obi-Wan Kenobi when they were in the just before Tala died. Actually, I thought she said something like
Did she? Oh,
I thought she said Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's why everyone's freaking out, because she said Obi-Wan Kenobi in front of her.
Right, but I thought the messages were like that just because it was all business. It's not like she's going to do this public message through the troopers and everybody saying, "Hey, Obi-Wan, remember when I was a little kid and I had my first experience with you with Jedis and magic and everything?" No, she's like, "Hey, man, you are one of the soldiers in the Jedi. You served under my father." She's not going to go back and talk about what she had with her when she was 5-7 years old. No, this is a business message. Right, I know that's my take on it.
You remember when I was in Doctor Strange?
Yeah, right. You know what? Like this is a total business message. It's not like, hey, you know, when I was a kid, you really helped me out, and could you help me out again? It's like, no, man, no, you were a soldier for my father. Anyway, Jimmy, that's what I'm thinking on that. But
yeah, but other than that, my biggest thing with this series was the lightsaber stuff. Like the whole, like they are sticking to their styles, and yes, in the episode where Obi-Wan got burnt by Vader, he wasn't focused on the Force. Like he's got a lot of fear going on right now because he's afraid of something happening to Leia. He's afraid of, something happening to Luke, and he's disconnected himself from the Force for the last 10 years. His lightsaber was buried in the desert. So we're seeing as the series progresses, his lightsaber ability to use it is increasing, like the fight against the troopers in the fortress when everything was collapsing around him. He was getting, and I think it's just going to get better from here. Mm-hmm. And then the Grand Inquisitor and Reva.
And there he is. The sixth brother. He's going to be the one to kill Reva, I'm convinced.
Before we get to that,
with kindness. Yeah.
Todd, before we get to you, we'll show this. Speaking of lightsaber,
please.
Stuff.
Grow too aggressive, Anakin. Be mindful. A Jedi's goal is to defend life, not take it.
Mercy doesn't defeat an enemy, Master. Which is why you're gonna lose.
That was awesome. What a segue to.
There's a really great Twitter video. Someone's compared that fight with their fight, the training fight with the fight they just had.
Oh wow!
The fight that they just had, and it's the same. It's exactly the same.
Wow!
So they went scene for scene for that. So, anyways, Todd, go ahead, bud.
Well, go ahead with what? It's so overwhelming. The whole thing to me is so, it's just so much fun for me that whenever I hear somebody have some sort of, they're having a bad time with it, I'm like, you're clearly seeing something different than me. I wasn't a massive fan of the prequels. I know that it's kind of younger people, that's sometimes their Star Wars. So I know a lot of younger people who just love that stuff. And in a lot of ways, some of my favorite stuff is watching Darth Vader or any Jedis to that point when they're at their peak of power, which, because we were so accustomed to seeing the beat down Jedis and all that kind of stuff. But when you see Vader come out and say Rogue One and just whoop ass, it's like one of the greatest scenes ever. So to see this kind of now, I'm very excited to watch this all play out. And even as a kid, you're like, well, what was Ben Kenobi doing between, while he was waiting in the desert? And I always laughed at the idea of me. It's like me changing my name to Tom Kerns, and then everybody going, "Do you mean is it like Todd Kerns?" It's like, unless the name Kenobi is like Jones down there or something. I'm not sure. But no,
it's crazy old wizard.
Yeah, crazy. It's just another Kenobi out there. I think it's so much fun to be able to kind of like, and I understand people's frustration with that kind of stuff, but I think there has to be a certain degree of suspended disbelief no matter what, because otherwise these stories become harder and harder to tell. And I think that the performance of that kid playing Leia is so damn good that I'm like, I'm going to accept it for what it is and sort of figure out how we're going to work this all in the bigger picture. I think she's
Chris made a point a couple weeks ago about the superpower development.
Oh, her developing her forward. Yeah, you can see when she's talking to people, she kind of cocks her head to the side and says, you're afraid of your dad. And the little boy's like, whoa, what do you mean? And then she looks at Obi one time going, you think that saying less, exposes more, or saying less exposes less, but it tells me more. So you can tell she's kind of like peeking in there. Because I get when you're a kid, you don't realize you're using, I would think it's just kind of reflex. Especially if your metachlorians are that powerful, or if your force power. Anyway, that was my thought. Yeah,
it's probably just super normal for her. That's just doesn't everybody feel like this? Is everybody able to do this? Yeah.
Exactly. And that scene with Reva when she's got her set to torture, and it's mirroring that scene in the last 3 films with Rey. There again, you get that sort of okay. So they're not shoving the fact that Leia has force powers, but you're kind of getting that sort of subtle hint. Oh, okay. Because when it gets to A New Hope, Leia's just a princess. You have no idea that she's, but
yeah. She's even a love interest for her brother in that first. yeah.
Creepy.
But we're not supposed to know any of that stuff, so it is what it is. Yeah.
I was just gonna say I did love how the little robot droid that she has. I like how they named it after Carrie Fisher's bird.
That's right.
When she was a kid.
Right. Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's
look at you there.
There's these little tiny things that they put in, like anything. Jimmy, have you picked up any like Easter egg wise, like to this point about Lola? That was a really nice touch of them. But is there something for you that you're like, oh, I can't believe they did this. This was really cool.
But one thing I liked about that the droid is Lola is the fact it looks a lot like the battery's not included.
Yes,
robots.
That's for us. Yeah, because we're all old. I'm not. I'm not. But the rest of you
for
are.
Yourselves.
But yeah, that's a good one, Jimmy. I like that one. But the okay, so not without its controversy, but one question I wanted to ask you guys about Reva. What do we think? Mikey, go ahead.
I like how they sort of have come around to show that she was the youngling.
That was right
from the beginning, which was you kind of had that inkling that maybe something was happening. I don't know. I feel like the character needed a little more fleshing out in those, but you've got 5 episodes. I'm very curious to see, because that last sort of scene in episode 5 where she gets, the little hologram communicator, Bale's message, Tatooine. Oh, wait a minute. Are we going to see sort of an Anakin twist where she's going to go and kill the youngling, similar to how Anakin killed all the younglings, because she knows, oh, wait a minute, maybe there's a connection there.
I don't know if they're going to go that dark, but I think it's definitely the worst kept secret of the whole thing. Like the second we met her.
I think the coolest thing about it is the fact that there is survivors from Order 66 or whatever the hell it was called, and she goes on to be. At first, you're like, oh, that's a shame that she's turned to the dark side, but seems she has something up her sleeve the whole time. So I think it's pretty exciting. Actually, I think it's really, really smartly written. I like the actor. I like the character.
But the thing with the people that survived Order 66, the Grand Inquisitor was one of the temple guards that turned to the dark side. Like a lot of the Inquisitors actually did end up being captured, tortured, and converted to the dark side. Reva was the only one that wasn't captured. She came back, or she joined, basically almost like a spy. And that, I thought, was a really cool twist on that. And I know she's going to go after Luke. I'm thinking Obi-Wan's probably going to take her out to protect Luke.
Well, we know he's not dying, so something's got to give there.
We're going to have the mother of all lightsaber fights then. For that
he doesn't die until Chris's favorite episode, but he's not dying there. So
there's got to be one more. There's got to be a big lightsaber fight coming up. But I don't think it's going to be between Vader and Obi-Wan. I think.
I disagree. There will be.
That'd be
Because
cool. I'd love to see that.
if you see some of the posters, like the show posters, there's Vader on Tatooine on a hilltop, and it's obviously Tatooine. So something happens there. Vader ends up going there. Like
maybe they should have the rematch back on
Mustafar.
Yeah, Mustafar.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I thought it would be again a full circle moment where Obi-Wan draws Anakin to the
right. So I just kind of hope they don't. I hope they don't blow it all here, like at the end of this TV show, because there's a lot more I think that they can work with. And to the point where they're at this huge, because Obi-Wan, as Jimmy's saying, is slowly getting there, and I like that. And you can see he's just going with the flow now, right? You can see it's just flooding back to him, the Jedi.
Yeah,
he's like trying to save the girl there and stuff. So I like that, and I think that if we end this and he's not quite at his height yet, like something almost gets to Luke, like the third sister almost gets to Luke, and he fights her. And right now, I think she'd probably be more powerful than Obi-Wan possibly, or it'd be a really good fight. So maybe that's, you know what I mean? And then it leads to some more Vader, Obi-Wan. I just don't want this to be the end of the ride for Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. That's the only reason I'd like, I don't know what's going to happen, but.
Well, it does create an interesting conversation, because this is what, like, how many years would you say this is before A New Hope? 10 years before?
9.
9?
Was it 9? Oh,
it's only 9 years.
It's exactly 9 years, because
when Vader says
they're 10 years old,
right?
And
they were 19 in A New Hope.
Yeah, and when Vader says
living on Tatooine must age you really, really heavily, because Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru
did not go well for them. Yeah,
no, that sun, too much sun,
too much sun.
That's Arizona living
not
for
enough,
them right there.
Not enough moisture.
No,
I mean Luke's looking a little 19-year-old.
That's why they're moisture farmers.
They got to farm that moisture, exactly. Because in A New Hope, Vader says, "What does he say? A presence I've not felt since 9 years ago," I guess, or whatever he'll say. I guess because when you're watching it now, you're thinking, well, I guess
he stops.
There is still
sorry.
That it could still be 9 years ago is a long time, really.
He says that's someone I haven't sent since,
and
and then he trails off. And he swings his cape around, because I'm working on a Darth Vader. I didn't mean to jump in there, but I just watched the movie, right? So it's like, that's like so fresh in my mind. I watched the third one as well, again, Revenge of the Sith, just because of the Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know, Todd, do you find that one hard to watch?
Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, because it's just such a bummer one, right? Like it's just
it's
the ending.
dark.
Like, at the ending, you're screaming at this. How many times, like, Anakin, no.
Yeah, it's a dark watch, but it's my favorite of those three, and it's it's next level by that point. But what do you think about? Are we going to see a Qui-Gon Force Ghost, or is that going to be a thing?
See, that's something I'm thinking that we haven't seen either, right?
Yeah,
because at the beginning, remember, he was trying at the beginning of the series, he was saying Obi-Wan or Master Qui-Gon talk to me, because supposedly, like, he'd been in training by Yoda to be able to commune with him.
Yeah,
but he was so lost in the Force in the beginning, but he's starting to reconnect himself and get a little bit more focused. I think Qui-Gon is going to show up in the last episode after, whatever, like at the very end. Qui-Gon will be there.
Do you think that Obi-Wan on purpose has kind of like dumbed down his Jedi ability for lack of being detected, by radiating out so he's kind of super rusty right now just because he hasn't been Jediing it up. So now
let's ask Jimmy. Jimmy's the only Jedi we know. Jimmy,
that's true.
How often do you tone down your Jedi-ness?
I never do. I stay at maximum.
Best answer ever.
You're around Lachlan all the time. I'd imagine you got to tone it down a little bit, or he's going to,
No, that's the only thing that keeps him still alive is me being focused on my Jedi stuff. But the thing with it, like with Obi-Wan, is he disconnected himself from the Force. I think like there's a lot of parallels to him disconnecting himself, like Luke did after the fall of his Jedi temple at the hands of Ben. So there's a lot of parallels. So he's, just kind of hit his lightsaber And he also wanted to be low key so he can keep an eye on Luke in the background and not, help people and, have the urge to do it, to keep low key.
I have to say, I prefer Obi-Wan's redemption story over Luke's lack of redemption story. Yeah.
I'm just disappointed that Obi-Wan would steal from his employer to take his food to his horse. Like, that's not very Jedi-like. I know he's doing it for the greater good, but come on. That's shrinkage. You don't steal from your employer. That's, if you work at the Metro.
Guy was an asshole, Mike.
Yeah, he was a jerk. He was ripping him off.
He was ripping them off every week.
Yeah, he was cut off from the
duty
Force,
from his
technically
Jedi.
Wasn't a Jedi.
So we
he's technically not a Jedi.
Do we see Yoda along with Qui-Gon? Because, I mean, I don't know how many people in the grand scheme of things would remember Qui-Gon. He was one film. But if you bring Yoda in with Qui-Gon, do you kind of,
Yoda's still alive.
He is, yeah.
Yoda's still alive at this point.
But do we bring
I don't
Yoda
think so.
back?
I don't think we go there because you can't bring... Can you bring everything? Is it going to make us feel good to see Yoda? I'm not sure. Like, I don't mean that. Like,
I'm always happy to see Yoda. Yeah.
Sure. But
It's a lot to wedge into, like,
it's
what's
a lot.
left
And
of
this last episode better be 2 hours. And I
It's
feel like
40 minutes. That's
Really?
it.
That's it?
40-minute episode.
I don't know why
It's
they're
leading
so
to something. It's leading to something, and they've been very quiet about it. I'm good.
Chris,
for them.
you know what it's
I mean?
leading to.
It's leading to more Darth Vader.
That's right.
No, I heard rumors that Jar Jar Binks is going to make an appearance.
That's right.
Man.
As a Sith Lord.
And they take him out.
Ooh, right. Yeah, exactly.
So one of the things that we didn't get to, or one of the things they haven't gotten to yet, is Luke, and which is funny because the previews for this were him watching Luke, and we haven't seen Luke at all. And
That's
we just
so clever.
We
I
just
love
see
it.
him at the end, sleeping in his little bed, dreaming about becoming a conspirator. So that's his plan, and we do the. But anyways, but that's it. So I gotta imagine that this whole episode's going to be Luke-ish.
I guess, yeah. That's
Luke by the barrel full.
Or maybe
By
not.
the
Maybe,
barrel
we've,
full,
we've had enough Luke. Maybe they've had enough Luke. They brought him in the end of Mando, right? They brought him in.
Yeah, but we've never seen 10-year-old or how is it 10 years old Luke before. I'd be curious to see him.
I think he does meet Luke, or Ben meets Luke, because he knows, he goes, or you're old Ben. He knew him in A New Hope as old Ben.
Plus, he's playing with that toy, right? He had that toy eventually.
Yeah.
He's flying it around.
Now, with talking about things that sort of reference A New Hope, there's the line, I got to remember what it is. It's Darth Vader. Oh, no, it was in Return of the Jedi where Darth Vader says, Obi-Wan once thought what you did, which is that whole, there's good in you. Does Obi-Wan, confront Anakin / Darth and say, Padme told me that there's still good in you? And
great line, Mike.
Do they have that connection at some point in this episode?
That's a great
because then
line.
that would totally
be heavy.
Answer the sixth, and then as long as he does go, Padme, no.
I hope he does. Just kidding.
Worst moment in Revenge of the Sith.
But very silly. Yeah,
that's a good point, Mike.
But
what do you guys think?
I think that'd be very effective. I have a feeling that
I agree that could.
Yeah, I think it's only going to be like Anakin is at full Darth Vader mode right now, full hate mode. I don't think it's going to, affect him at all. I think he's going to be like full all guns blazing at this point.
Because in A New Hope, when they meet on the Death Star, he calls him Darth. He doesn't call him Anakin. He calls him Darth. So at some point in this last episode, there has to be a point where I think Obi-Wan goes,
well, he's more machine.
There's no saving
man. Yeah, he's more machine than man now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was wondering, Mike. Mike, there's so much good stuff. Are they going to try and cram it in this 40 minutes? Or are they going to give us a lead into another vehicle? You know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping it's a lead in. I'm hoping we don't see. I hope it ends with this huge cliffhanger and we lead off into this whole other TV show, movie, or whatever. Man, give me more. Give me more Vader. Much more Vader. More Obi-Wan.
I heard. I did read an article today where they interviewed the guy that that even though the woman's been directing it, but whoever has actually put it together and written it said they ended it anticipating it was just going to be the 6 episodes. So, but you never know. But I did hear rumors a couple weeks ago that they had renewed it for a second season, but I guess that was just rumors. But it would make sense.
Quiet about having Little Leia in there, man. I had no news about Little Leia being in there, and all of a sudden she's like the second lead character basically in a lot of the stories. So as I mentioned, they've done a good job of keeping hush hush on this one, maybe because of COVID and everything leading up to it. I don't know, but I have no idea what they're going to do. Who knows? But I hope that it's like a lead into something cool.
Well, at the end of Mando season 2, was it, where nobody was expecting the Book of Boba Fett, and then
well, that's what I'm thinking they're going to do.
End credits.
That's what I
maybe
think
they do what you're saying, Brent. Vader.
Well, Chris, if you guys and for everyone watching at home and listening on the air, number 30 in Latvia right now. So our Latvian friends,
Latvia.
hi.
Latvia.
Because I was there and 9 people listened to podcast there and they were at the show.
Cool.
I don't know.
There you go.
So, but I think that it's going to be interesting if they go with the Darth Vader approach. But Chris has been touching on it for weeks about what's in those comic books, and it is so deep. So with that, let's go with this. Let's go with our predictions of where we're going to go here in episode 6. And then I'll start with you, Chris, because I want you to talk about that, but also remind our listeners a little bit about what's happening with Darth Vader. Go.
Oh, okay. Well, here's another thing that they haven't touched on with Darth Vader. Palpatine is treating him like a bag of douche, man. He's so mean to Vader. Like it's right from the get-go when Vader comes back. Palpatine's like, "Yeah, you killed your wife, you killed your kids, you're a really bad dude. You suck, man. Obi-Wan kicked your ass, but you know what? I'm gonna help you out, but you better do what you're told." And he makes him uncomfortable at first when he's in that outfit and he's only nubs, right? Like he's having the hardest time working that crap. So we didn't even go into any of that whole transformation from Anakin to Vader and the more so the relationship between Vader and Palpatine. Now, I know this isn't called the Vader Palpatine show, right? This is called Obi-Wan. So we're looking at the relationship between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. Now, what I'm hoping is they just put a pause in where we are. I don't know what they could do. They could pull something out to make the next episode interesting, but I would love to see them put a pause between the battle between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, and I'd love to go to a Darth Vader solo deal, and let's get into Darth Vader's mind a little bit. Let's get the psychology going from inside his head about what happened from him being transformed into Anakin or Anakin into Darth Vader, and the way that Palpatine is treating him. I bet you most average Star Wars fans who don't know a lot about it, like, man, they must have had a great relationship. Darth Vader's out there killing people and coming home and high-fiving Palpatine. Hey, good going, Vader, good go. It wasn't like that at all. And he had all these Inquisitors trying to take him down, which we have touched on, right? They all want to take Vader down. He knows this. He knows they all want to take him down. And Palpatine surrounds him with people like this. He'll send Vader on a mission and said, "Oh, this guy's going to go with you and make sure everything's okay." No, he's not. He's going there to wait for you to turn your back and try and kill you. It adds levels of excitement to everything that Vader does, and it makes him a hero. So that's what I'm waiting for, is a launch into that. What they do with Obi-Wan here, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to go to Jimmy here. Chris, can you find a comic book where he strips him down and throws him into the desert? Like, just to show as an example, so people watching this show will know we know what the hell we're talking about. Jimmy, predictions. Go ahead, buddy.
I know Reva's going to die in the next episode of 110%. She's either at Vader's hand or Obi-Wan's. I think, but it might be a little too soon, but I think that what the end is going to go into is kind of tease Andor. Because Andor is the next series, and that is supposed to take place a few years before A New Hope, because Rogue One was, basically a couple weeks before Episode 1. But I think the next series is supposed to be dealing with Andor and how he became this great warrior for the Rebels.
Are they going to do it live action? Are they going to do it in as a comic?
Oh, it's full out live action. Andor, yeah.
Okay. So you think they're going to go? You think they're going to go Andor on this?
I think they're going to at least tease it somehow. I feel there's going to be a little bit of a link, but I think that Obi-Wan is because that movie poster with with Darth Vader standing on that hill with his lightsaber staring up on Tatooine. Obi-Wan takes off with a shuttle with the kid in it, and Vader's sitting there trying to figure out what's going on. And then he thinks that's because they still don't know that Ben lives on Tatooine. They never knew he lived there. They didn't find him there. So he's going to go back to Tatooine, drop off Leia, and then go back. But
go back to the fish market.
Yeah.
Steal some food. Mikey, what do you think?
I'm going to be the odd man out, I think. I don't think Darth Vader goes to Tatooine. I think Reva's going to go to Tatooine. I think Darth and Ben are going to have a big battle on Mustafar, sort of round 2, where Ben dies. Vader thinks he's dead because, as you know, when we get to A New Hope, it's, for all intents and purposes, he doesn't know that Ben's still alive. So I think we have a big battle on Mustafar, and Anakin gets his check mark. So they're tied at 1. And Ben goes back to Tatooine only to find Reva there wanting to kill Luke. And Ben does the whole, don't do this, it's for the greater good, blah, 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 blah. And don't make me kill you, don't make me kill you. And, he ends up killing Reva.
That's an interesting take on it.
And I think this is it. I think you get the Obi-Wan arc. He realizes he can't save Darth, and he realizes he can't save Reva. So that leads into the disenfranchised Ben Kenobi, at the end, who, he can't save it, but maybe Luke can. So Luke needs to learn the ways of the Force, which leads you into A New Hope and that adventure. I would like to see some interaction between Ben and Luke, because then it would make the scene in A New Hope when they blow up, when he dies, make it mean something. Because, everybody always jokes, yeah, you're I can't believe he's gone. Yeah, you've known the guy for what, 20 minutes? You saw him, he saved you from some sand people. I think being able to see at least some interaction between young Luke and Ben, and then Uncle Owen, again, being grumpy old man, you stay the hell away from him and don't come back here. So I think there's some things they can tie in there. I would love to see the Grand Inquisitor and the Inquisitors end up having their own sort of spin-off. I think it would be really, really cool, because I think Grand Inquisitor is fantastic.
I think you're going to get it animated. There's just so much live action. Todd, what do you think, bud?
I want to see all 3 of those episodes you guys just brought up. I think I'm like, after Chris, I was like, yeah, that'd be rad. And then Jimmy, I'm like, ooh, that'd be cool. And then Mike, I'm like, wow, that'd be. I'm kind of mind of bits of all 3 in a lot of ways. I think you're going to definitely get Ben somehow interacting with Luke, even if it's just as brief, like even if at the end of it all, it's just sort of a very brief sort of like heart-wrenching moment, kind of thing. But I think Jimmy's right. I think we're going to see some sort of hint and tease into Andor. I think that's sort of a no-brainer, that they've been sort of very good about doing that with the stick around for this, kind of thing. But I think, Reva, between Reva or Darth Vader going to Tatooine, I'm not sure. I really don't know. In a lot of ways, there's a big part of me that wants to see Vader go to Tatooine, and just so that he and Obi-Wan can have that thing. But I think you guys are right. I think Reva's going to be the one that goes, and I think she's going to be the what's the word? Collateral damage in all this.
It's interesting because Jimmy, I like your point about her having to go, but I think the fact that she almost died in this past episode, does that add arc? Does that add like she survived it and now she's back, so now we have compassion, so you got to kill her, so we're like, she didn't quite make it? Or did she survive, prove her worth, and she's going to survive this and just it's going to be a different thing? Or do we really think she's going to go on this? I mean, it's arcing towards her going because she seems to have the same defiance in her that Anakin has, about the whole thing. And I one of the things I don't want to say I didn't like with the last episode, but her willingness to just go at Darth and not thinking he would just go, yeah, I sent you right there. Behind me. I thought that was a little too.
I'm Darth Vader. I don't know if you.
It was just a little bit too like sneak uppy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like she snuck up and she's gonna do it. It's like, I'm not sure what she was thinking. I don't know. I thought they maybe could have wrote. Yeah. Whatever the word I'm looking
They're
for.
in the presence of Vader. And
I
thought they just hit her. Oh my God, I'm about to try and kill him.
I thought I was kind of thinking, but all these points are amazing about it. I think it's all good. I really want it to the end credits to be, and I said this to Chris before, I want this to be a stripped down Darth series. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want him, shirtless, like, what's his nuts there? Ben, little Ben, whatever his name was, where he was doing the thing, and he always seems to be working out when he's talking to Rey. Kylo Ren's talking to Rey. But scarred up,
half robot
dude that's kind of how he has to do his day-to-day function. I think we're all here for that.
But wasn't it rad when he was just like force choking everybody down that alley there? You're just like, oh man, he's gnarly. Like, I don't want to mess with that guy at all. It's like,
you remember though in the Mando or Boba, like when we learned how they stored the speeders, like we're like, oh, that's how they do it. That's how I want to see how he makes toast now. I want to see, what our day to day is.
You just reminded me of something that they didn't really touch on, which I think would be cool to explore, is the tomb of, collected Jedis, like action figures, because there was a theory online that this is the early stages of Palpatine, the cloning and all that, which that's
because they're trying to retcon the whole like Rise of Skywalker, that whole thing. Yeah.
Chris, did you have any luck there?
Oh yeah.
What do you got? Let's see.
Okay, so here's where it starts. It's called. The storyline is called Into the Fire, The Punishment. Okay. Now this comes in right after Empire Strikes Back. So let me read. So it comes with, of course.
It's reading time. Do I have reading music? Hold on.
You get your intro here, right? Like this. So here we go, folks. Here we go.
The Brian De Palma scroll. Yeah.
There we go. Into the Fire, Part 1. Darth Vader revealed the truth. He is Luke Skywalker's father. But Luke refused Vader's call for the dark side of the Force and escaped, as we all know, in Empire. Enraged, Vader tore through the galaxy on a quest of revenge against everyone who hid Luke from him. Now he finally understands the truth about the death of Padme, the wife of the man Vader used to be. And Vader's master, Emperor Palpatine, is not pleased with Vader's rebellion. So, and here we go. And they just start fighting, right? Like, there's an ad for Lego there, but I know it's hard to see, but then they just fight. And so he goes at Vader. And Vader's like, dude, Vader says, he's like, why, Master? Why are you attacking me? And, Palpatine's like, wimp. Do not play these games with me, Lord Vader. Tell him, Grand Visor. And Visor says, you were sent to bring Skywalker to the dark side. Instead, you let him escape. And they flash back to him falling off of the dealie there in Empire, right? They flash back to that. Yeah. And then, so he just rips the crap. So then, he just rips. Like, Vader starts to fight back, of course, and he's no match for Palpatine. He blows all the parts that he put on him off of him. Okay, right. And then then there's some really cool flashbacks here.
Just a flesh wound.
Yeah. So where do you think he drops him off? Brings him back to Mustafar and says, "You know what, man? Time for you to start over." So there he is. So he drops him off. Right there he is at the bottom, just like when he found him, but he's got his Vader gear on a bit, right? And he says to him, "Okay, we're good luck. Use nothing but your strength." Use nothing but your strength, not mine. Grabs a lightsaber from him. And then at the very end of it, you see that just to start off the fun, Palpatine sends in a bounty hunter to the first of them of punishment to hunt down Vader and try and kill him. So, wow. And then starts then the whole series starts of this storyline, which is just fantastic. There's another one here if you can see, like he's just beat. Look at that. He's got like just mechanics to him that he managed to put together by himself from old droids and stuff.
Oh wow!
He builds another lightsaber. Yeah, it's real. It's a great.
So he's Darth MacGyver now. That's great.
He's Darth MacGyver, dude.
I dig it.
He's so good at putting it all together. It's pretty rad. So yeah, so he'll find like some Imperial droids that were left over, something there, and he'll hack them up and picks the hand up a little bit. Meanwhile, this dude, this bounty hunter guy looks a bit like one of the Fets, right? He's trying to kill him. So it's pretty rad. And more people come down. It's just a cavalcade of let's kill Vader.
That would be a rad series. That'd be rad.
It's good because and then the word gets out that Vader's on this planet and he's not equipped to handle people. So it's like, now's the time to get Vader. So now everybody's heading to Mustafar to try and take him out. Well, some chosen ones, right? It's really cool. So anyway, that's that storyline I was mentioning, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Really good stuff. Vader comes back with on the back of this huge beast to fight Palpatine, and then
crazy. Yeah, you raised some very interesting things about our misconceptions of the relationship between Vader and Palpatine.
Yeah. And how comfortable he was being Vader at first, man. All the lore that I have, and back in the books too that I've read, is that it was constant pain for him. He had to be constantly using his Force powers, just not to pass out from all the pain from everything, right?
Yeah.
And it was also clued that Palpatine did this on purpose so that he could keep control of him. You know, Palpatine. That's again when I watch Revenge of the Sith. And you're watching Palpatine take Anakin down that road, you know, like telling him at the play about
Darth
Plagueis
Plagueis
the Wise, and you're going, "No, Anakin!" Again, I've watched it a million times. No, Anakin, don't listen to him. It's just such a douche, right? Oh man.
But does Palpatine is he use like Obi-Wan as the full fall guy on basically everything? Like it's all Obi-Wan's fault. You should hate him, kind of thing. Is that where the redirection of his
he makes him hate himself, dude. It's all Vader's fault. You failed your wife, you failed your kids. Obi-Wan's like,
well, he kind of did.
Right. It took
which, and I think he did kind of show that at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Was like, is Padme all right? No, you killed her. You know, like it's it's your fault, not mine.
And what was Darth's line after that? Exactly.
Well,
but
boys,
that's cool though, because I was just gonna say that
I don't know what's going on with this source music here. It's pretty crazy. I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing.
Now getting a massage on Tatooine.
I know we're getting a massage on it, but
well, anyway, the Vader series is fantastic and it's still going. So the first series is after A New Hope, right? And this one is after Empire. And it's just great. It's really, really great.
We're getting hit with all this background music. It's weird.
That's okay.
Kind of weird. Anyways, it was just massage music, and that's funny.
This sounds like one of those self-help Sith books. You're a good guy, Darth Vader. You're a good guy.
You really
the Emperor
get it too well.
is evil.
That's right.
The Emperor is evil. This is like Tony Robbins for the Force.
It really is.
It's fantastic.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
I one with the Force.
Yes.
Training.
That's like Rogue One. I'm one with the Force. The Force is in me.
Yeah.
This is where it started.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I hope they dive into the comic book lore a bit. And that's just part of it. There's the whole other side where they, because when Luke's hand got cut off in Empire and it falls, it's retrieved by some guys that Palpatine sends in there, which starts a whole...
I heard this.
Yeah,
Did they use his DNA for something, or what?
The whole cloning thing starts again with his hand. This is the beginning of them kind of explaining the whole cloning aspect, right? And so they get Luke's hand, and it goes from there. Another story in the comics, right? That's it's also good. There's so many cool stories in there that I could tell you guys. And on the sidelines, of course, Boba Fett's having adventures, with the other bounty hunters and such.
Sure, yeah.
It's good stuff.
I love it. They should make all those series.
But I don't think they're going to do a series with that one because they've announced all these other series over the next 4 years.
Yeah. That's true.
But they haven't announced any movies.
Yeah.
So
they did mention Taika Waititi
is working on
one, and he is all about forgetting the past and starting a whole new set of adventures, which, man, that's, if anybody's going to be able to pull it off, I think he would. But that's a pretty ballsy thing to come out and say. It's like,
now when you say that,
let them go.
Do you look back on the last 3 films as a version of that, or is it still too tied to the original thing to really have its own legs?
Original. Yeah. I think it was that sort of like, yeah, we're gonna change it up. I mean, we saw it with the second film. I mean, the original idea was supposed to be something really, we're taking it this way. And then I think they got cold feet because merchandising and, I don't think these are the strong enough characters. Maybe Taika Waititi can pull it off. He's done
the
wonders
right
with Thor, so
he's supposed to do some new movies.
New Star Wars, the
next
a new film anyway. I don't know,
just one new film. Yeah. Oh, okay,
but I think
like a side.
Even like with Rogue One, although it was sort of tied within the world that we know, it was a whole new sort of fresh sort of take on it. And I don't know who these people are. There's no characters that I'm aware of, and I thought it was really refreshing. And I think sometimes that's even Mandalorian, initially, other than sort of a recognizable, child or whatever, but he's still like that initial first series was not, or first season was all new characters. It wasn't really relying too much upon. It definitely leaned pretty heavy into it once, Luke Skywalker's here now and, all that kind of stuff. But that's cool. But I'm always very, I like the idea of starting fresh, just to a certain degree. Within this entire giant framework that we all love, it's kind of like, let's see what else is out there beyond Skywalkers and Obi-Wan Kenobis and, all that.
The newer movies could have been good. I emphasize they could have been so good. There's just so many choices that started that kind of derailed everything, and then not backing up characters, just using characters for no purpose at all. It's sad the way it kind of deteriorated. But anyway,
it says something about this franchise that even after a couple of slaps across the face, that we still kind of go, there's some of those films over the last, in the prequels and stuff like that I just stood there on a soapbox to my friends just saying how terrible they were, and then I got down off that soapbox and went back to the movie theater and watched it again. It was that's what we do. It's like, it's like,
yes. And this hat is a prime example of that that feeling. I will take the abuse every year and keep going back.
Yeah, of course. This could be the year. This could be the film.
Of course, this could be the film. This could, salvage it. But
Jimmy, let me ask you one last question for you guys before we go. Jimmy, where does this rank between Obi-Wan, Mando, and Boba Fett? Where does it rank for you under these three new properties?
Interesting.
I love them all.
You gotta throw one overboard, bud. You gotta throw it and it's gotta drown. Which one's it gonna be?
It's better than Boba.
Okay.
This is like a Star Wars version of Fuck, Marry, Kill.
No, it's more like the House Hunters.
In my rank, it would be Mando, Obi-Wan, Boba.
That's right.
I'm with Jimmy.
Yeah, I think there's no question.
Go to me. That's exactly how I feel. Yeah.
I go Obi-Wan first, just because I'm all about Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, and then I would go Mando, and then I'd go.
It's a very tight. That's a very tight 1, 2, 3 for me. I know it's tough, but I do. I guess because Mando, after being let down for so long, that Mando episode after episode, I was like, this is going to be the one. They're going to slip it up. They're going to mess this up. But they never.
2 seasons of that as well.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
Yeah. So
I'm talking specifically that first season. To me, felt so damn good. You know what I mean?
It was.
Yeah, the first season was. Yeah.
And Favreau and Filoni, you just felt like this is finally in the right hands to breath
of fresh air.
And trust me, I get very nervous when they start announcing, here's a gazillion more series we're going to do. I'm like, slow down. Just because you guys have got it right 3 times now, it's kind of like that's pushing. Well, I guess you got to throw the Bad Batch in there as well, which is also great. Yeah, you got to be careful with now it's just, how bold they get. They're like, they love it. Just keep throwing Star Wars at them. Here's a fast food restaurant on Tatooine, or just some sitcom ideas. We're going to fall for all of it. It's like, none of us are born yesterday. We've been through this for the past, 40 plus years now, or whatever it is.
That was the nice thing about Mando, though, was that it seemed like the perfect marriage between nostalgia and establishing something new. And again, just the way it was shot and just how it felt Star Wars as opposed to just, a giant CGI, video game. Although, did you see that one of the VFX editors from Revenge of the Sith finally came out and said that shot of Luke and the troopers walking to the Jedi Temple in Revenge of the Sith was all CGI. That was that was no Anakin.
I would believe.
I'm like, wow. Okay.
I dig it. I don't know where they all rank for me. I kind of just like them all living in that space. I just want more of the little shit. I like the storing of the speeders and the this and I want all the little.
I
things.
love that too. Yeah.
I think that stuff is like there. Okay, fellas, we're at an hour. People got to go do things. I don't because I'm in Glasgow and I'm gonna go hang out with the Scots. So
Glasgow.
Let's go around the horn. Jimmy, what's been going on with you, man? What's next for you? What's happening with Jedi Jimmy? What's happening with Cruz FM? All the rest of it.
So with the Jedi Jimmy podcast, I do have to do like my last one dealing with episode 6. But then I'm doing an old break, kind of like what we did, but a breakdown of all of them with some of my predictions as I went through and kind of where I hit and where I missed. But then I'm going, once that's done, I did a lightsaber series where I went through all the forms of lightsaber combat, all 7 of them. But now I'm going to do the Gadfi stick and the Beskar spear. So kind of show techniques that were used in the movies and stuff like that for the Jedi Jimmy.
And you can hear that weekly on the Dean Blundell Network and wherever you guys get your pods.
Nice. Very cool.
Jimmy, rad to have you on, buddy. Thanks for joining us this week. Mikey, as always, where can we find you?
Apparently I'm back into wrestling again. I did want to take a quick second to shout out our buddies over at Bucketheads.
How about that?
That was phenomenal. What a huge Star Wars.
We got to get these other two. We got to get these other two guys on it next time.
I'm telling
Todd and Jimmy, did you guys watch the episode that we did with the guys from Bucketheads?
No.
So these guys created this.
Marco and Andy.
They created this Star Wars thing called Bucketheads. It was basically the premise is what happened to the stormtroopers that were left behind.
Right.
On Endor, and they're all part of this like Star Wars group in North Vancouver. The whole thing.
The 501st, isn't it?
501st.
Yeah.
And they created a whole thing, shot the whole thing, and
it looks so.
It looks incredible.
And unreal how well it was shot.
It's called Bucketheads, and they do a really good job. Anyway, so Chris and I got some background stuff going on in it where we're talking, and Mike does the coming up this week. And also
have an ad in there too, for Blue Bantha, which is
that's so cool.
Hyper fuel for your day or something like that.
Yeah. So that's
so well done.
They're friends of the show. We're gonna get them on again. And anyways,
I totally want to go out there. If they're gonna do another episode, I just put me anywhere. Put me in a store.
It's funny. I said to them, if you guys ever need some background stuff, let me know because my little guy and Alex are out there, and we'll just show up. And I think they meant background talk because Chris and I ended up doing the background talk in the thing. But I'm like, no, I want to blow someone up, or get shot or something.
Come on, I practice going into grocery stores. I do my Force Wave every time,
check out Bucketheads. Check out Mike's intro on Bucketheads. And Mike in the ring somewhere around.
Around Southern Ontario, and still, shilling away from my little private booth here. It's
there you go.
Mike, at this point,
Mike, WWE's coming to Kingston. Are you going to see that event?
Oh, are they? Oh, I did not know that. Oh,
I didn't know if you were going to see it or not, just by chance. I didn't know if you were like, they'd mail you tickets or whatever, and you get to go to that kind of thing. Or if it's
I'm not that tight. I know that one guy. I don't know. Yeah. I think he's.
Okay, I was just curious.
But you guys should go. You guys should go.
It would be fun. I keep saying to Brent that at some point I need new theme music, and I want Machete to do some.
Oh, cool, man! Yeah, I'd love to do that. It'd be great.
Why don't you get these guys to do it as well?
There you go. Look at those guys.
Look at that.
There you go.
I could have the sixth brother doing my introduction.
Todd, what's happening, brother?
I can't show my force powers. That's all.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to because Darth Vader will come get you.
Yeah.
I'm finishing out a couple of weeks of Raiding the Rock Vault here in Las Vegas, and then Toque starts up a summer of Canadian dates. We got July 1st in Dauphin. July 7th we're doing a halftime show for the Edmonton Elks. So CFL.
Formerly the Eskimos, yeah.
That's right. Then July 15th in Lloydminster. July 16th in Tabor.
There you
July
go.
17th it's at Craven in Saskatchewan. July 29th in Camrose. August 4th in Grand Forks, BC. So there you go.
Nice.
So
what's your greatest Age of Electric Tabor story?
I don't have a Tabor story. That's the funniest thing about of all the places I played, and Alberta especially. It seemed like, when at the end of the night when they would show Channel 4 and Wetaskiwin, and they would just show up like play there. But
hey,
like,
Todd, we got to talk to
Tabor's
Brian
one of
Heatherman. We got to talk to Brian Heatherman and get that gold record back, buddy. Sorry if you haven't done Tabor.
yeah, exactly.
If you haven't done Tabor, you haven't earned it.
I haven't earned it. That's a gold record.
That's where I grew up.
There you go.
Really? No way.
So, yeah. And I'll be at the Elks game that you're going to be here at because I live here in Edmonton.
That's fantastic. That's great. Yeah. No, we're looking forward to that. It's really fun to do those like halftime type things. It's going to be nerve-wracking because you'll go out there, be amazing for like 15 minutes, and then get the hell out of here. We got a football game to play. You're like,
Todd, it took a lot of convincing to get Jimmy on today because he was like, that fucking guy's never played my town. So I'm not sure I want to come on. Age of Electric was just a little too good for Tabor, buddy.
You don't want to play in Tabor.
Yeah,
you have no need to play in Tabor.
This is not the town you're looking for.
That's right. Gentlemen, hang out for a minute. Chris and I will let it go here. And thanks all you guys for coming on this week, and make sure everyone checks out all this stuff. I'll just put you guys in the hair, and then Chris, you're going to talk quickly about your new conspiracy theory show that's coming out.
Yeah, I don't have it all geared up because my associate here is having a nap. But yeah, we have the intro all done, and I've got I got some cool stuff. So there's so much local stuff going on, which is really cool. But that one is really intriguing me the more I look into it because it could still be going as the MK Ultra dealie. And there was the whole spot in Montreal where they had an office or a hospital where they were trying it out. And what it is they're giving them forms of LSD to start off to try mind control. Now, where that elevated to is what I'm looking into. And there are also there's aspects of celebrity or shots of celebrities when all of a sudden they go, and then they daze out and they're kind of back in, and it's wild. There's some sports guys that have done it, so I'm going to show some shots of that, some serious.
You just had to watch the Johnny Depp trial. Amber Heard was doing it the whole time.
Yeah, well, my wife could. You got to get my wife on here to talk about that because she watched all that stuff. And
I think Amber Heard's looked at whole trial was this.
She's
It was all right.
Very evil person. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to the MK Ultra. And here in Kingston, we're going to do the first one because there's tunnels around here, man. And they go from the jail to the mental house to the women's hospital or the women's jail. And some of them are just boarded up. So there's got to be some creepy stuff in there. Maybe I can go to the city and they'll crack one open for me and I can see what's in there.
Tell us about this.
And this. Okay, so we still have a few copies of this left. Issue 2 as well. Please go to Etsy.ca, the Etsy store. Go to Machete Comics, that's one word, and we're having a sale on right now. I think there's like 40% off some new graphics that are up there. I got some really cool new artwork up there. Yeah, decent. There's the copy, issue 3. If you haven't got that yet, pick it up. You also get a free collector card, and they're all in the other room, but you get a free collector card with that now. There's like some Shogun Warriors ones, some Daredevil Marvel artwork I did. It's all Marvel artwork that I've done, and they're in oversized card format. So we have those. So go to the Etsy store. So go to Etsy and then just Machete Comics, one word, and check out our store where there's lots of cool stuff up there. I'm working on some stuff right now on the computer that I'm coloring. Always lots of stuff going on.
Good stuff, brother. Make sure you guys. I'm traveling with this. I got to read comics.
Nice.
And I got this.
You've got to start giving it to people that have some pull and get photos of it with them.
Yeah.
It'll be like, what was that Flat Stanley guy that they used to send around in school to go to all places and they take a picture with Flat Stanley?
Well, I'm not sold that this band reads comics, but we'll see that I'm out with, but we'll see.
They don't have to read it. Just get a picture with it. Yeah. Hey man, what? Just let me get a picture of you with this comic.
But what is it?
They won't care. Just all right.
All right, friends. Next week, I don't know where I'll be, somewhere, and then we'll do something. We got The Boys to talk about. Maybe we'll get this panel back for the season finale of The Boys again, and then we'll wrap up the season. Plus, I think actually that's a great way to wrap the season with The Boys finale. And then it came from the closet. Let's break out the toys.
It came from the basement.
Oh, the basement. Well, closet. I don't know. Some people have it in the closet.
There's monsters in the closet, man.
That's right. That's the Kids on the Escalator for another week. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to our friends, Dean Blundell and the team over there for hosting. And thanks to Todd, Jimmy, and Mike for attending. As always, welcome back anytime. Great people doing amazing things. We will be back next week, friends. That's Chris Machete. I am Brent from the other thing.
Yay.
And we'll see you soon. Good times.
Rad dudes.
Bye.
There we go.